Why do people think gas prices are caused by the president? Presidents can indirectly have an impact on oil and gas prices. How big of an impact that is depends on the agenda of the administration. For example, for the first time in 70-something years, the U.S. became a global exporter of petrol instead of importer in 2020, in part because of policies put in place by President Trump, meaning we sold more than we bought. That is a massive influence on gas prices because of presidential policy. Likewise, President Biden's overall agenda calls for a move to greener energy, and his policies that work to halt the advancement of pipelines within the country have an impact on gas prices too, driving them higher. For a big example, currently we've suspended just about all trade with Russia due to the war in Ukraine. The only thing we're still buying from them is oil and petrol. Should Biden elect to halt the trade or oil and gas from Russia, one of the world's largest exporters of it, that would have a massive impact on gas prices. So to answer your question, gas prices in most circumstances aren't directly impacted by the president, but big policy they make can absolutely cause a substantial dip or raise in price. No matter who is president, the people on the opposite side blame him when something goes wrong. That's American politics in a nutshell. I'm not super into sports, but I've heard that the president and a quarterback both have the same issue. They both get too much credit when things are good, and too much blame when things are not good. Oil prices are complex with many dependency. The president, POTUS, can wield executive orders and/or instruct federal agencies with regulatory oversight on energy production to regulate or not. Upon election, the Biden government altered the domestic energy policy direction, resulting in changes to supplies immediately and in future. Add a pandemic and now wars with energy producers cut off, and we can expect energy prices to rise. TBD if the goal of addressing carbon emissions through making fossil fuels more expensive as part of a drive to greener sources will work. Because they don't understand OPEC and/or probably how things work in general. People don't understand causation versus correlation. Some are willfully ignorant of it, if it suits their conclusion. Maybe I misunderstood this when I read it back during the fracking boom. But many of the leases are not easy oil spots, and therefore not worth drilling unless the price of oil reaches a certain level. So they hold the leases until the time the market looks like it will bear the higher price. They aren't caused by the president. Emo when things mess up or go wrong. The president is typically the first person people blame, even if he has no control over it. People forget that OPEC controls a ridiculous amount of the world's oil supply. If you want blame anyone, blame OPEC. A president does not set gas prices. We know that. But you're an idiot if you think their policies affect it. Policies like killing the Keystone XL pipeline on day one, and soon after approving Putin's pipeline, makes our price go up. Lowering oil production at home while increasing our dependence on foreign oil is why our prices are hitting $6 a gallon. Now you tell me whose policies those were. People generally see the president as guy in charge, regardless of how much power he actually has on a particular issue. Presidents generally have pretty marginal ability to affect gas prices directly. They can do stuff on the edges like allowing drilling on federal land. But people greatly overestimate how much impact this has on prices. Some of it is also just partisanship, as well as stereotypes about which parties are business, environment friendly. For what it's worth, it mostly happens with every president. Presidents have influence on gas prices, but not set them. For instance, Biden's decision to shut down drilling and pipelines in the U.S. has caused less production, therefore less supply and the need to import. This has a direct impact on gas prices. Between the United States, the UK, and the European Union, every single day, we are sending $700 million a day to Putin by buying his oil. President Biden needs to stop financing Putin's war with Russian oil, because he shut off the spigots of American energy. Taking away subsidies from American oil companies, axing the Keystone XL pipeline, and stopping the renting of federal land for fracking. 3 policy decisions that directly caused the price of gas to go up. We were finally a net exporter of oil, and then as soon as Biden gets in, he makes us dependent on other countries. And then one of the countries we are most dependent on turns out to be a country we aren't getting along with. Not a great combination. Shutting down domestic oil production can't help. Macroeconomics is the reason. Stock equities have plunged and commodities roaring. Corn, wheat, flour, precious metals, minerals, petroleum, natural gas etc., translating to increased costs across the entire commodities sector. If the president ever wielded control of commodities, the United States would be an unmatched empire. Simple fact is, we don't produce oil internal consumption. We produce oil to place on the market. Believe it or not, pipeline or not, there would be no actual addition to the oil supply. Why? OPEC would lose money. They'd reduce their supply to market, or undercut Keystone, making them reduce production or sell abroad. The United States is at the mercy of international partnerships for goods, rare earths and oil most notably. However, we're supreme in agriculture, but with the cost of agricultural goods soaring, those commodities will likely be sent to foreign markets, raising food and energy costs. Keep seeing the Keystone pipeline mentioned. An utter waste of money. How can we be considered not dependent on other countries for energy when the pipeline starts in Canada? Because they get told to be mad by their favorite and somehow sacred politicians. Gas prices are decided by OPEC.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.